So let's start with the serious stuff. How good is the coffee at Craft, and how good is the coffee at Hafi Kaskaro?
We had this conversation yesterday, actually.
So I had to work with what we have on the island, as our brand stands for Support Local. I have a coffee that is organic, and it gives back to the Rainforest Alliance, and we're going to switch over to a coffee that's being brewed locally. It's a lighter roast, and personally I like a darker roast, so
And I think Craft has a darker roast?
We do. Well, we work with, we partner up with Panther Coffee, which is actually a roaster based in Miami, Florida. They have coffees from all over the world. They're a specialty coffee company, and before we opened Craft, one of the mainstays of the place was going to be the coffee house aspect, so that was very important to us, a coffee that we liked, and that we were going to drink every single day.
And I can stand for someone who drinks your coffee.
And I see him every day, too. And it's a great partnership we have with them, and for us it was very important not to just go with what was available already on island, because there was nothing of the kind to the quality that we wanted. So that was the direction we went.
All right, so enough coffee talk. Tell us a bit about Zena before we get into the real talk.
More about coffee. Well, I'm originally from Aruba, spent 18 years abroad. For further education. I worked as a marketing manager for the Tourism Board of Aruba, actually, in North America for almost 7 years. Came back, wanted to flex some creative muscles, do something different. Worked for Aruba Aloe, also a fine local company, for a couple of years as well. And then we opened Craft about 3 years ago. So that was, sort of a new project for us. Actually, the field was very new for us, the F&B business. So it was a collaboration of sorts with a lot of different people to make it happen. But yeah, here we are. And about a year ago, or almost a year ago, we opened up Lola. So
we've heard of Gaby and Femi, your background. You guys went to the university, did your master's. What's your background? I like this story.
Well, I think actually for all of us it was kind of like a long and winding road, because we don't end up doing what it is we initially thought we were going to do. My road is a little longer because I'm a little older than they. But I studied biological anthropology and neuroscience, and I thought I was going to go somewhere in the anthropology field, work in a lab like pipetting salivary samples or something, but that wasn't quite where it ended up. And I went in an art direction background in advertising, and then, realized that what was really important to me was sort of flexing, different ideas, and not just, succumbing to working for other people.
So would you imagine, with the background you had, the degrees you have, that you would be where you are right now?
No.
Absolutely not.
So
but there's beauty in that.
That's the beauty of it, and that's why this panel is called Creativity, Collaboration, Technology. So now what, right?
Yeah, now what?
So let's talk about, you mentioned branding. How important is branding for Let the Story Be Sold, for Hafi Kaskaro, for Sano Silatos, and also for Craft and Lola?
Well, I actually majored in branding, so when I was setting up my company, it was all very gut feeling. I didn't really think about it too much. I guess my brain was just wired in like, okay, now you have to have your mission and your vision and your la la la. So for me, it was just, let's just do it. And then yesterday also I spoke a little bit about it. It's I didn't want my face to be tied to the company. However, nowadays, after the recession and the smaller companies, people really want to know who they're paying and what community are they getting themselves into. So I think it is very important to personal brand as well, to show who you are and why and how you've created your product. And in that, you can really show your creativity as well, because that's what makes it unique.
And I'm a one-woman show, so I have no other people to help me with that. So the branding is just about me, about my life, about what I do. And if people come to Curacao and they think, hey, I want to book an Instagram tour, then, you know, they can do that with me because they see all of that coming by on my, and that's actually the reason that, I mean, my Instagram came first, obviously, and then I saw that people kept asking me like, oh, where do you go and where's that and what is this? And I also want to go with you. When you walk around, I'm like, money. There you go. So no, that's how those things go, and you just, yeah, you kind of put your life out there, and that's what people like to see and experience. So that's what I'm all about.
Is that the same for you too?
I think for Kraft and Lola being, we see them like siblings, you know, one is like the older, more established, like mature sibling, and then Lola came, the more playful, you know, younger sibling, and they each tell a story, and there's a beauty in that. They somehow work together seamlessly, but we have a contrast in how we set up the look and the feel of Kraft versus Lola. So I like that, you know, we're constantly telling stories, and we have this nice contrast, black and white, between the two places. So
literally almost black and white because they're so different. What do you do to keep this creativity going? Do you think you can find inspiration on island, or is it necessary to leave the island to get more inspiration to set up something like Kraft and Lola, San Stilettos, and Hafikaskora?
Well, like I said just now as well, I think it's important to have creative people around you that inspire you. And yeah, through collaboration, you can put ideas together and make it stronger. And so yeah, that's actually a lot of our business has been built on collaboration as well. And of course, our side hustle. So yeah.
I think that, well, I travel quite a bit. So for me, that's something that I like to take inspiration from because I get to travel a lot, or I make it so that I can travel a lot. But I don't think that means that you can't find inspiration if you're maybe, you know, on island a bit longer, or you don't have the means to travel that much. That doesn't mean you have all the technology out there. Everything is, you can see it all. You can see what people are doing in different countries, people are doing on other islands. And I think that you should be using technology a lot more on island to be able to see, you know, what people are doing and how that can inspire you, for sure.
We're lucky, and a lot of people that we consider creative and like to work with are constant visitors to Kraft. So, you know, we have this little area in which we established in Aruba, and I think traveling helps. It certainly helps to see what it is that is missing here, you'd like to see enriching the experience here in Aruba. So I think it certainly helps, you know.
Awesome. We touched on collaboration a bit, so obviously the two of you collaborating, that's a very great example. But also you mentioned the partnership with Panther, that's also a collaboration that for you is helping Kraft and Lola. How key is collaboration? I mean, it's obvious, but is it like necessary, or can you live without it?
For us, it's essential. I mean, nothing happens in a vacuum. You know, the way we set up Kraft and the partnerships that we have locally, you know, Lola, creatively speaking, the whole build-up was a collaboration. I mean, we had an artist come and create, you know, beautiful awning, the Frida artwork at Lola. We had custom-made plates made in Mexico with a company that worked with us to make the look come alive. I mean, nothing happens in a vacuum, so I think it's crucial, you know, to survive.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure, because if I don't have colleagues like I did at Microsoft, and I miss that too. So my fellow entrepreneurs, they're all of my colleagues, and that's how I see that. We also run a foundation together with 5 other female entrepreneurs called Boss & Co. in Curacao, and everybody is from a completely different industry. So that's really great, because if there's something we have a question about, we just throw it in the app group and we're like, hey, help. I don't know what to do with this. What are we doing? And there's always somebody who has an answer. Or there's multiple people with multiple answers, and then we'll argue it out of whose answer worked best.
Awesome. Do you believe in cross-island collaboration? Because we know how Aruba and Curacao, some might think we compete a lot on different levels, but seeing you on stage, and there you go. Do you believe in cross-island collaboration?
Yeah, especially for our islands. You know, we have a thing going, the ABCs. I think that we should do a lot more with that. Although we're so close together, we do have very similar things, yet so different in a way. And I think we can
I
use
think
that in
works.
advance.
Yeah, I think
exactly.
that works in our favor, actually,
Yeah.
because we can offer, all 3 islands have completely different personalities, and you can offer so many different experiences to a traveler. Because when were we talking or were we talking? I don't remember when I said this, but I think that a mistake that at least I've seen on Curacao is that people think, oh, we're competing against Bonaire and Aruba for tourists. And I'm like, no, you're competing against Australia and Spain and all of these huge places. It's not like that anymore. You know, it's the world that you're competing against. So why would you not collaborate to make a stronger product for people to come and visit?
Awesome. Want to add to that, Zena? Or
No, I thought you were trying to set up something here when you said collaboration between
Oh, no,
islands. I'm more than happy.
why not? Let's set it up.
Yeah.
I mean, starting with let the story be told.
Yeah, exactly.
I
So
told
a
you I
perfect
can set
example.
up your farm.
So, do you need any coffee beans in Curacao? Maybe we can supply from...
Come help me set up a farm over
There
here.
you go.
So.
Collaboration happening on stage. So stay tuned.
right here at ATECH.
I want to encourage the crowd, if you have any questions, please. We have our ladies with the mics around and the gentlemen, so feel free to ask any question. So let's see. We covered creativity. We covered collaboration. So now technology, I guess.
Turn it on to them first.
All right, let's do it.
So I still have my papers, whereas my partner goes around with her little iPad. So I'm slowly transitioning into all the tech stuff.
Slowly.
Hey, this year has been good.
It's been better.
But
Smart man.
of course, I think that for businesses, especially service-oriented businesses, there's so much technology that you can implement that the service is just quicker and better. And of course, it's investments, but I think it's necessary because service, that human interaction is very important and it will set you apart. I once went to Shake Shack in New York and you entered and there were computer screens and you had to push your order and pay and then just go and pick it up. I did not really like that. I mean, yeah, it was cool to experience, but I like it when someone smiles at you at the door, so.
I was just thinking maybe it was just dirty fingers on all the screens.
Ew, I don't like this now.
I have to say it's interesting that she says that because there are other things like delivery systems like Grubhub and Uber Eats, for example, in which I think when you're ordering food, you don't really want to talk to somebody, you know? So there's other instances in which I think the opposite, and that's another thing. I would love to see something like that happen in Aruba, but there are instances in which I think it facilitates things for the business, but also the human contact's not really necessary, you know? And there's room for error as well, so with the human...
But you're touching a very remarkable, very sensitive subject, because for Lola and Kraft, I can imagine also for Hofikascora and San Estellatos, that human connection is very important, especially to have people in the restaurant, for you to have your customers joining the workshops. Would you want to have a Grubhub in Aruba or on the islands?
But it's in different states in mind. When you're in your PJs on the couch, you don't want to talk to anyone. When you go out and you're all dolled up, you want to be like, hey.
Yeah, for me, in what I meant was the takeout orders that we get, for example, I would think that would facilitate things so much more. You know, we're a busy operation, the phone, you know,
Yeah.
but so on the flip side, there's some things in which I think technology, I would go that route versus the human route.
That's a good point.
Awesome. Thank God, because I can't imagine not going to Kraft. My coffee will be cold by the time it gets to me. All right. Any questions from the crowd? We have a very quiet crowd. There's a hand in the air. Oh, there's the mic. There's the mic. And we also have a mic right there. Someone wants it? No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
go ahead.
We touched on 3 different topics, which were business, health and well-being, self-improvement, and agriculture. And I could see how these 3 things can go together quite well. But is that the main focus, to be in the section of business and agriculture, or is it more of everyone finding their own way of self-improving?
Is this directed to someone specifically? Because I'm feeling it's for you, Femi.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Well, I think that food is a basic necessity, just like a roof over your head. And I do believe that if you have the right nutrition, that you can I mean, you have to take care of your body to do anything you want. So I'm not sure if I'm getting the question correctly, but
So your
So
question specific.
I'm asking if the focus is more towards leading people towards agriculture and business, or if it is more towards finding their own escape, to call it.
Okay, so in Curacao, and maybe here as well, people just do something and they don't really make farming a business. And I often get the question is, can you get rich with farming? I'm like, well, if you handle it as a business, because you have to really plan it out, and there's of course technology tools to plan and map everything to make sure that at the end of the week you have enough, and you have to know how much one plant takes and gives, and if you handle it as a business with modern ways of farming and tools that make it more sustainable, then you can make it a business. And I think that, well, at least in Curacao, I can't do it by myself for the whole island. So we do need to have more people on board. And maybe by creating communities or corporations, and we can make, say, we do salad, you guys do carrots, that not everyone does the same thing, that you still have to work together. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, I could see it answering the question, because that in turn also teaches people to take care of themselves and to improve constantly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And again, collaboration is key, as you just mentioned. Collaborate.
Yes,
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
Great. Any other questions? If not, I'm going to ask one more question to Zena. How many egg skillets do you have at Kraft and Lola?
How many, sorry?
Egg skillets. Skillets.
Oh, skillet eggs. We have 2. Thank you for asking, Tristan. Actually, we have 3. I told him if I get stuck, ask me a question I know the answer to.
That's why.
And there's more to come.
Awesome. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.